Welcome back. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Max Keller alongside Nate Stein. That's right. He's back from the basketball season. We had a great time doing that, and we're here for a new sport. You might be familiar with it. It's called baseball. And we got a great game here today between your Ensworth Tigers here on Ensworth Live facing off the JPII Knights. And Ensworth has hit a little bit of a slow point in the season. Lost 3 games last week to Brentwood Academy and proceeded to have to forfeit some games the week before, couldn't play. But we're back here. Mason Jablonski, the ace on the mound for the Tigers, who had a amazing start last time.
Carroll's going to send this one up the middle and through into left center on the ground. So he's aboard with the leadoff single, the second baseman for the Knights, getting things going early from the right side of the box.
Well, Jablonski has fantastic placement. I think one of the only critiques that a pitching coach would have was maybe some of the lower velocity. Can't really get it up into that, higher range that you can see from some kids in this talented division. And so sometimes these hitters can see the ball better, but that's just a great leadoff single. Mason Jablonski is not easy to hit by any means. So he's got the second batter up today, and we have a runner on first.
Giarratano's going to lay down a bunt and try to advance the runner. He's going to get aboard as well. With that, Carroll will make his way down to third base. The errant throw a little bit up the line from Bramer. But there to back him up was Bushman. A good cover behind.
Yeah, that is Alex Sifford at third base. The late start for Coach Maxwell, who he didn't get in last game, and so maybe just got some nervous feet in the varsity start. But definitely interesting to see that that third base position has been a little bit of a revolving door until Carson Cobb returns to the lineup. But back for the Tigers at shortstop is Connor Cobb, the outstanding freshman, and so we will see him. So now Jablonski in a little bit of a pickle here in the top of the first inning. Runners on first and third. Throws a good first pitch strike.
First pitch strike so important, especially when you got runners in scoring position. A little bit of pressure there, but Jablonski trying to just find his spots early on here.
And placement is definitely the strength for Mason Jablonski, who just had it working last Wednesday against Brentwood Academy. 7 shutout innings, and here's a sacrifice bunt that will score a run. Runner will be out at first. And I have to assume, Nate, that JP2 coaching staff saw the first errant throw from Alex Sifford and wanted to go right back that direction with another bunt.
Yeah, it worked out the first time. They're going to try to test the freshman third baseman, Alexander Sifford. He made an error on his first throw, but, I start to wonder if that's going to just add to his confidence. When the ball starts finding you this early, when you make a couple plays, you start to forget about the one that you threw away.
This pitch is hit into left field, and Kenny McKinley gets under it and will not have to run as the runner on second will tag up. So that'll be the second out of the inning, 1 run already from JP2 if you're just tuning in due to good base running and sacrifice bunts. But now Jablonski only a runner on second with 2 outs, so that is a runner in scoring position, but can he get his way into the dugout without allowing another run? And this pitch will be outside for a strike on the outside corner. Fastball, loves that location.
Every umpire in the game will expand the strike zone just a touch on that outside edge, and Jablonski's got to capitalize by finding it over and over.
He's proven that he can do so. Here's an off-speed pitch that came in high. For the first ball of the at-bat, this series holds so much weight for Ensworth because at this point in the season, you're well into the swing of things, and the win column is not looking sizable for Ensworth, and they're trying to pick some of those up this week. But they'll get to play on their home field twice for the first time in a series. This will be it'll be a throw over to first. Thought Sifford could have tagged out the runner, but opts to throw to first, and that will be the end of the top of the first. Good outing from Jablonski after allowing a run early on.
Yeah, he settled in a little bit, a few struggles, and you can give credit to Carroll, who jumped on one of the first couple pitches he saw, maybe only looked at 1 or 2 before getting that base knock up the middle. And when you have active bats early, you don't let the pitcher get into a groove. It'll work into your favor when you're at the plate.
Well, I think the big thing about a pitcher like Mason Jablonski is that he's going to throw a lot of first pitch strikes, and he's going to throw a fastball. And so he's testing you. A lot of hitters will come up to the plate with the mindset of, I'm going to make him throw a strike, or I'm going to sit back and be a little conservative here. But you're going to have to be aggressive to hit Mason Jablonski. And unfortunately, he had to let up that earned run. But here come the Tigers, who are led off by the stud center fielder, Devin Obie. Every Ensworth person is familiar with him, and honestly, if you're outside the community, you're probably familiar with him. He draws attention from everybody. He's committed to Duke for baseball and gets a lot of MLB attention, but if you ask him, he's living in his own world, just trying to be the best player he can be, and I know that he can prove it every day.
And Obie's not just a one-man show, batting second right behind him. You have you, the catcher, also going to be playing at Duke, so that dynamic duo to lead things off can strike fear into some pitchers, but we'll see how Lax will handle it tonight for the Knights.
Up to bat, number 2, Devin Obie.
Obie will step up to the plate for the first time tonight. Tigers already trailing by 1, a manufactured run right off the bat. Carroll and Geritano starting those off for the Knights. Now the focus on the Duke commit, Obie.
And he's aggressive. Watch out for this first pitch. And like I said, he takes a hack at it. He'll foul this off to the right side. That's going to bounce on the concrete. Devin Obie, he preys on the first pitch of the game. In his first at-bat at home on this field, he hit a 400-foot home run on the first pitch of the game, dead center. So that'll just raise the eyebrows of anybody that's watching.
Think he had that in his mind when he turned that first hack?
I think he did. And actually, against Brentwood Academy last week on Wednesday, his first at-bat went 363. The fence is 365, so about as close as you can be to hitting a home run. And so he's down 0-2 in the count, but after 2 foul balls, you know that he's seeing the ball well. He'll have to protect the plate here. Pitch outside for ball 1.
Smart by Obie to see that one. That was high and out the entire way. A very disciplined hitter.
And the pitcher Lax throws 2 balls in a row after starting with 2 strikes. So now Devin Obie is back to where he wants to be, even count, and he can do some damage. He'll foul this one off again right. He's just a little bit late on some of these swings.
It's a dangerous situation if you're Lax, because within 2-strike count, you obviously don't want to give him too much to hit, but you've also thrown balls outside the 2 of the past 3 pitches, so you can't dance too far on the edge out there.
This pitch is going to be inside and low for ball 3. Good eye from Devin Obie, who worked the count like a pro, and he's at a full count, so he's going to have to face the battle here with Lax. The pitch is on, and it's a strikeout for Devin Obie to start the game.
Obie working the plate well, able to get to 6 or 7 pitches, but just can't quite catch on to that one. You could tell he was seeing the zone, seeing the ball well out of his hand, but something off-speed from Lax on the inside corner froze him up. Maybe Obie expecting fastball in this situation. So we go from one Duke commit to another. It's going to be Andrew Yu, the catcher, stepping up to the plate now with 1 down, nobody on.
Andrew Yu's about as sturdy as you get behind the plate. But here he is as a batter, and he's got it. I mean, he can hit the ball. A lot of big contact kind of guy. And this pitch is going to be bloopered, and it's going to be just foul. Went over the first baseman's head and will, like I said, land right side of the field foul. But Andrew Yu, I have a great story. He last week after the loss against Brentwood Academy, that's right, 2-hour baseball game. I see him walking to the cages, goes hits for another hour. Just the mentality of a winner and somebody who's committed to play college baseball.
You truly have to love it if you want to make it to the highest level. And listen, ACC baseball is up there at the highest level. You don't think you got there by accident. Nobody can say that. Going to the cages, that's exactly why.
Well, him and Dax Bramer are longtime friends, and they're 2 seniors that are huge for this Ensworth lineup. And Andrew Yu takes that one, pitch outside for a ball. I mean, excuse me, hits the outside corner of the plate for a strike. 2-2 count for you, 1 out, nobody on. Foul tips that one. You can see there that he was just trying to protect the plate.
Incredibly defensive swing there, just kind of threw his hands at the ball, wasn't sure, could have been outside, could have been right on the edge. He just took a pitch that he thought was outside in the strike zone. Got to wonder if he's questioning what he's seeing up there.
He's got to be careful here at 2-2, and he does swing at a pitch outside the zone.
Yeah, same exact swing that we saw that foul tip before, just never really got his lower half into it. A lot of arms, a lot of hands, and just kind of swiped at it. You're not going to make a lot of contact doing that. You'd like to see someone with his pedigree take a little bit more detailed approach there, but when you're facing a count like that, it's tough.
Yeah, and so, Ensworth is a team that is a little bit of a victim to the slow start, and they score a lot of their runs late, and as you can see, 2 outs early on to start the game. But Kenny McKinley comes up. He had a home run in the series against Brentwood Academy, his first of the season last Tuesday. Unfortunately, it was away. We couldn't see it, but I heard that he smoked the ball enough to do a little bit of a bat flip. So,
ooh, sources say a little celebration. Let's go.
A little celebration, and Kenny McKinley swings there and misses for strike 2. 1-2 count for McKinley, the junior left fielder, who is working with no base runners at the bottom of the first inning. JPII leads by 1.
Lax trying to get McKinley to chase outside the zone. He's had success with that location. We'll see if he keeps trying to pound that area.
And McKinley grounds to third, and he will be out to end the inning. And I just saw he took a step a little too early. He was a little antsy on that pitch, and he just swung and hit the top of the ball and just grounded out. Not good contact there.
Out in front, makes an easy routine play for the third baseman, Jackson. Has a little backhand action coming straight towards first base. Nothing too hard. Lax settling in early on, making the Tigers just look like kittens out here.
So, if you are just tuning in, we are heading for the top of the second inning where Mason Jablonski will head back on the mound for his second inning of work. He allowed 1 run in the first inning after a single for JP2 and then a bunt that got that runner to third and then another bunt which scored that run. And that's just what some might consider a very passive-aggressive way to get a run. And it still counts, but it's not as fun.
Yeah, it counts on the scoreboard. I was actually just thinking about it, Max. I don't think it counts on the stat sheet because the error got Carroll to third. Yes, he got a single, but if it was just bunt, fly ball, that's 3 outs. You're not going to be able to tag out on that fly ball. Possibly not even make it to third on that second bunt down the left side to the third baseman. So it's still an unearned run. That'll keep Jablonski's ERA at 3.2 for the season, but obviously he's not worried about that. He's more worried about what's on the scoreboard. It started to settle in a little bit at the end of the last inning. We'll see if that continues here in the second.
So we are ready to start the second. Andrew Yu will head out to the mound, give a little pep talk to Mason Jablonski. And I know that Andrew Yu is one of the best leaders you can find to put behind home plate. And so he will pop a squat and get ready.
Rayborn steps in for the Knights, DHing in place of the left fielder, Christian.
So let's see if Jablonski stays aggressive with the first pitch. Nearly hits the batter there, but yeah, that's just one of those pitches that I think Mason Jablonski is still in development of. That off-speed curveball looks to come in that movement. Also could be a slider, but that is a fastball that is jumped on early and will land in the middle of the softball game that is currently going on. So a little bit of a distraction there. A sabotage from JP2.
Got to keep your head on a swivel when you're in these athletic compounds like we have here at Ensworth. All the fields set up right next to each other. Yes, there's fencing, but not everywhere. You just can't do it.
So we will take time. The fielding for Ensworth has been really solid. I think there's only been a couple of errors, and it's mainly been just some, I think, sun issues. Players losing the ball in the sun. We all have that happen if you played outfield before, but it's a fairly clean fielding and a good hitting lineup. I think it's just been timing. I mean, Mason Jablonski goes 7 innings against Brentwood Academy with a shutout and just happens to be facing a pitcher that also goes 7 shutout innings. You get to extra innings and you run out of gas a little bit. That will be called for a strike.
Rayborn halfway down the first.
He was ready to go.
That call was made. He wanted his free bag. But loaded up now for Jablonski. He might be able to get out of this one.
Location will be very key here for the full count. And that is a great pitch as Andrew Yu will throw on to first after the strikeout, swinging in the dirt.
There's some development for you. Get him to chase down low.
And I believe that the second pitch might have been a curveball. That to me looks more like a slider down and in. But a great pitch there from Jablonski to get the punch out. His first strikeout of the day.
Brings up the right fielder, Deason, for the Knights.
And Deason will swing at the first pitch and send it to the popular region of the field, which is along the right side. And watch out if you're over there.
A lot of guys trying to go oppo, just not keeping it in play.
Yeah. It'll be an interesting adjustment as long-term people are going to need to start putting it into play. Jablonski's second pitch will be a strike, and so here we see the pitch sequence from Mason Jablonski. It's strike zone, and he's going to stay there as long as possible until the coaches insist otherwise, but he loves keeping that pitch count low, which was a huge way that he went 7 innings last outing. That pitch is going to be outside. That was the off speed in the dirt, and this time could not get the chase.
Yeah, it's something you expect in an 0-2 count, especially when you're coming off a strikeout. You got the last guy to chase after something off speed out of the zone. Just a little too far outside, never really had a chance. That's an easy one for Deason to lay off of.
Yeah, I think he started that one too far outside. Deason never thought about it. And this pitch nearly misses, nearly hits the strike zone, but that one was, I thought, top left corner. It'll be called for ball 2. Even count now for Deason, who hits this one and will be a single to left field. McKinley dove, and I didn't give McKinley enough credit. He got to that ball very quickly, but that one looked like it was going to land the entire way, and it did. So now a runner on first, 1 out. Double play is possible here as that middle infield returns to full strength with Cobb and Bushman playing their normal positions. So Jablonski getting ready to give this pitch. New at-bat, new mindset. He's going to check on first, where Bramer will handle his throw. Bramer has been a sturdy first baseman, somebody that's moved around in his 4-year program here. He's played outfield, he's played third base, he's played first base, but sticking at first for this season. This pitch is low for ball 1. And one of the things that I dislike about checking on the runner at first is I think it gets you out of your rhythm a little bit when you're not going to the plate anymore.
It also lets the runner know that you're thinking about them. And like, unless you know you're going to get them, or unless you're trying to set up some sort of play on the base paths or in the field, I don't understand why you would go over there, especially this early on in the game.
Well, Jablonski will shut me up and go right for a strike following that. And he will move the count to 1-1. I'm sure Jablonski is looking for a pitch to get the ball on the ground. And that one will be called ball 2, another one in the dirt. So Jablonski is trying to get hitters to chase low. Could be a scouting report thing.
I think when you have a player with the size of Sweat here at the plate, you don't want to leave anything too high up in the zone because that lets him get his arm extended, and that's going to be bad news.
And so this pitch will go foul off of his own leg.
That don't feel good.
That does not. These guys are pretty tough. A lot of this stuff would honestly put me out of the game, but step right back into the box. Sweat looking to get a hit here on Jablonski. 2-2 count, 1 out. This pitch is fouled and will probably be out of the reach of Bramer as it hits the top of the dugout of JPII. Maybe a little bit of a intimidation strategy from Mason Jablonski, although he has no control over where the ball is hit. I'll wake you up in the dugout. Maybe some guys who were ready to pinch run and falling asleep.
Deason's taken off on Jablonski's motion each of the past 2 pitches. We'll see if that keeps up with the 3-2 count.
Only 1 out, so this would be a steal attempt. And he will not take off. Full count, 3-2.
Just missing off the outside edge. Maybe a little bit of cut towards the outside of the plate there and just barely missed it. It's a pretty good pitch from Jablonski.
So Jablonski trying to work his way through this inning after allowing 1 run last inning. And this pitch will be down, and Sifford will make the throw to first. And the double play is off. 2 outs, runner on second, scoring position. And last time Jablonski was in this situation, he got out of the inning. So he's trying to repeat that habit.
feels like every ball in play has been hit towards the left side at Sifford, the freshman. It's funny. It's almost like everybody on the other team knows, like, hey, freshman, first start, just put it to the left side. He's handling it well. Little bit of the yips on that first play, but since then he's been on target.
Well, something we talked about previously on air here was just seeing the ball come your way. And I know that when you go an entire game without seeing the ball, as this one is put into play over Sifford's head, and this is going to be a play at the plate, but McKinley will just throw 2 as the base running was solid for JP2, and they will pick up their second run. This time it will be an RBI single. So JP2 takes a 2-0 lead on the Ensworth Tigers, who desperately need a win here today at home. So 2 outs, runner on first, force out at first or second for Jablonski and this fielding unit. And so Jablonski starts the at-bat low. You want to make sure that you keep your mindset head straight out there on the mound for Jablonski, who had his methodology down, and you wonder if some runs will start to change that. You hope not, because that first pitch strike has been working well for him. And now the runner caught in the pickle for JP2, but this throw is high, and he will be safe. You know, the common mistake you see from a base runner there is that they realize that they're about to be in a pickle, and so they hesitate. He just took off and went to second, and so Bramer couldn't get the throw on time to Bushman, and they will pinch run.
Yeah, the runner's first instinct is generally right. They can tell kind of with the sixth sense when they can take off, when they're going to have enough time. So to your point, Max, a hesitation just gives the first baseman a little bit of time to catch up and get that ball down to second. Helps that the throw was high, but great base running from Robertson.
And that's how JP2 has done it early on, bunts and smart base running. So 2 out, 1 ball, runner in scoring position again. Jablonski let up his last run on that. That'll be a strike inside and down, outside and down. So 1-1 count for the nicknamed Jabo Man of the Island Boys that this Ensworth team calls themselves, self-proclaimed.
Every team's got its unique culture. This team wanted to be the Island Boys, and you know, whatever helps you build that camaraderie, whatever helps you build some sort of brotherhood, it really does make a difference at this level of the game. It's awesome to see.
This team is tightly bonded under the excellent leadership from Coach Maxwell, who just does a phenomenal job with this program. His pitcher is now in a 1-2 count with 2 outs, runner on second, trying to escape the inning. Jablonski checking on the runner at second. He'll go to the plate, and this pitch will be hittable, but a good foul tip that time. And so JP2 trying to stay aggressive, and they know that Ensworth will put some runs on the board most likely later in the innings, and that they have the scouting report on the slow start. So their ability to get a lead to start the game, I'm sure, is exactly what this JP2 coaching staff wanted to see. Jablonski with the 1-2. This is an off-speed pitch that the contact was solid, timing a little off, foul ball to the right field line. And that runner on second is antsy to get his opportunity to run. And Jablonski wants a different pitch. And he likes what he sees now for the 1-2. Maybe looking to get a chase pitch here. This pitch is in play for Hunter Harris, who can't make the play, but it is foul. That ball had a lot of curve on it. Looked like it was going to be fair.
That ball started straight at the right fielder, Harris, and just kept tailing and tailing. I thought that was going to be in play by 10, 15 feet when it first came off the bat. Ended out foul by about 5.
And so JP2 upset there. That would have definitely been another opportunity to score yet another run and make it 3-0 here early on in the top of the second. Well, we're stuck at a 2-0 ball game. Jablonski with an even count, 2-2, trying to strike out the batter. He's only had one strikeout today. A lot of contact for JP2. This pitch is low and will advance the runner. Andrew Yu couldn't block it, and that's one of the only times you'll see Andrew Yu let a pitch go by. That'll make the full count situation here, and this is what we call the pitcher-batter battle. That's a mouthful, but it's who wants it more at this point. And Jablonski's going to have to be good with the pitch selection, and a lot of this is just mental games.
Speaking of mental games, I'm wondering if Jablonski's starting to get a little frustrated because JP2 hasn't made solid contact all game. It's not like they're seeing his pitches and driving them deep into the outfield. It's a lot of bunt singles. It's a lot of bloops. It's ground balls that are just getting by an infielder. See how he bounces back.
And this pitch is low and will walk.
I think they're going to say it was 2-2 before that.
Oh, yeah, so now it's going to be a full count.
One to burn there for Jablonski, thankfully,
yeah,
for the Ensworth fans.
So now Jablonski has to be crucial, has to be accurate here. This pitch is driven up the middle for a single RBI, and now JP2. Boy, are they steaming 3-0. And as Nate Stein put it, they're not doing it in super high fashion, but they're doing it the way you would see in a baseball rule book.
It's one of those things where I'm pretty sure that was the hardest hit ball we've seen so far today. And that single up the middle from Carroll, and it still skipped on the infield grass.
So now Jablonski already in a 3-0 hole as this pitch will land in our football bleachers. And if you are listening in your car and not with visual audio, I hope I'm painting a picture of Ensworth piece by piece. 0-1 count, 2 out. Jablonski trying to escape this inning that has given him all kinds of fits after starting off strong. I believe he got 2 outs without allowing a run.
Looks pretty good. A few base runners, but just a little bit of a string here. We have Robertson with the single decent and Carroll with his second hit of the game.
And Jablonski will tag out, and he'll get it done himself. Maybe give him a little bit more confidence, but another 2 runs from JP2, and we're heading to the bottom of the second. Ensworth trailing 3-0. And I bet that this is about a time where the bats need to get going, Nate.
Absolutely. You faced a 1-2-3 inning. Jablonski's being forced to work really hard, allowing base runners trying to get out a few jams. He hasn't walked anybody yet, though. It's really death by paper cut on the opposite side, so he needs the offense to pick him up a little bit. You got Bramer. Jablonski's going to be able to have an opportunity to help his own cause here this inning, batting second, followed by the younger Yu, Spencer Yu, the freshman, who is batting today. So it'll be interesting to see whether this middle of this lineup can pick things up. You obviously already faced the 2 Duke commits.
But now
if you're lax, but
yeah, now you got Dax Bramer though, and if I have to look over, I think he's hitting about 414, and well, he is just seeing the ball. And like I said earlier, he is a counterpart with Andrew Yu, always in the batting cages, and you know it's a baseball paradise when you're seeing the ball well.
Yeah, Bramer at 414, and Spencer Yu, who we just mentioned, batting 400. These guys have an opportunity to do a little damage, having the best season out of the starting lineup for this Ensworth team so far. The only 2 hitters batting better than 400.
Bramer.
It'll be the first baseman, Bramer, to lead things off. Lax had a really strong first inning, a couple Ks, and induced a ground out to third, but has been sitting in the dugout for a while. And right up the middle, and he boots it. Carroll couldn't get his glove on there, just skirted right underneath it. It seemed like he got there in plenty of time. I'm curious to see whether they'll rule that an error or a hit. Based on the scoreboard, it's going to be a hit.
Number 11, Mason Jablonski.
The lead man on for the Tigers now here in the bottom of the second. A little bit of ground to make up. Bramer keeping his bat hot this season. So batting over 400, now the pitcher Jablonski is going to have an opportunity to give himself some offensive help. Not often you get to see that at one of the fun parts of the high school game.
And I'm not sure if it's an equipment thing for the catcher or if we have a sub at catcher. I don't think we have a sub at catcher. I think it's just an equipment thing.
Yeah, maybe something happened with the mask.
Yeah. So he was wrapping up his arm. Maybe he got hit in the arm or something. But Dax Bramer's average will get even higher just when you thought it couldn't with a single to start the inning. So now Jablonski with some runners to work with. He'll take strike one. Jablonski does have warning track power. And that is something that Ensworth has kind of lacked. Not a lot of high slugging percentages scattered across this 9-man lineup, but they'll get the job done. So 0-1 for facing Jablonski takes that for ball one. Pitcher-pitcher matchup, as Nate mentioned. And this is something where oftentimes you see the pitcher hit the ball very well. And that doesn't have to be a correlation, but Brentwood Academy's pitcher last week had a double that went to the fence, and Jablonski also has that warning track power. And so I think they have fun while they can do both items before they get to the next level. And so Jablonski 2-1 will hit this one in danger of a double play, and it will be safe at first, but Bramer will be out at second.
Fielder's choice there will get the pitcher Jablonski on, but just a similar situation for the Tigers now. Runner on first just with one out. That does bring up you,
number 18,
Spencer Yu.
Spencer Yu.
You, the DH today, as we mentioned already. The other hitter along with Bramer hitting over 400, right at that number on this young season, looking to do some damage here. The Tigers don't need to do anything crazy. You doesn't need to send this 1 yard. Obviously that would help, but the game's young. Just get balls in play, get that pitch count up a little bit on Lax. It looked like he was swinging for the fences there.
Did the opposite of your advice there, and Spencer Yu, who I think gained an immense amount of confidence in his first couple at-bats against Brentwood Academy in a big series, getting 2 hits against a rival, will do that for you. But he does a good adjustment to take ball one. 1-1 count, 1 out. Ensworth trailing 3-0 here in the bottom of the second. Runner will be checked on. That is Jablonski at first. Or excuse me, they're probably a pinch runner. I believe that is Drew Lancaster pinch running. Good buddy of mine who does relief pitching along with pinch running. Mr. Utility, some might call him.
And they say pitchers aren't athletes. Come on.
Well, I'm glad he got back to the base, or else that would have been the
Real
commentator
awkward.
jinx.
Real awkward right there.
Of the game. So, I believe that was a ball. 2-1 count, and now a 3-1 count for Spencer Yu. This is a hitter's dream. As Drew Lancaster gets his lead, and this is high. Another walk.
A couple base runners now for the Tigers, and all of a sudden they have life as Cobb will step up to the plate, and that's the freshman Connor Cobb, the shortstop, batting .267 on the season, but don't let that low-seeming number fool you. Cobb can swing it.
And so Connor Cobb looking to come up and get the job done. Big position he's in. He'll take it 0-1. And so Connor has to have his head in the game here. A huge opportunity for the Tigers to make up some of the deficit. And he did go. It looked like he went.
I was going to be shocked if he left that one at a ball. We felt like we saw pretty much the entire length of the barrel of the bat standing behind home plate here.
And this pitch low, not enough to get the runners advanced as a great stop behind the plate.
And a good call by Lancaster to stay on second, because you could tell right off the bat you wanted to take off. That ball was farther away from him at first base. But Lancaster had no chance of getting to third. That errant pitch brought the catcher closer to that than that 90 feet. Or I guess it's not 90 in high school, is it?
No, I don't know exactly the distance, but it's not as long. So a little bit of the advantage for the catcher. That pitch outside to even the count 2-2, just outside the catcher's strike zone. And Connor Cobb will have to protect the plate here. Fouls this one right again. And that side of the field is littered with foul balls.
Good defensive swing there from the freshman. Cobb was able to fight that one off. It was probably top corner, maybe a little bit high, but close enough to take a hack at it. He got to get a chunk that should give him some confidence moving forward in this at-bat.
So now 2-2, again, having to protect the plate here is Connor Cobb, who strikes out swinging, and that is not ideal, as now the runners will not advance. Still only one runner in scoring position. Hunter Harris up.
2 down. Harris will step up to the plate after Lax picks up his third strikeout of the night. Got the opening 2 outs of this contest with back-to-back Ks. So Lax has been solid so far. This is the first jam we've seen him in, and he's handled it well with 2 runners on, now 2 down.
And statistically speaking, not the hitter to have at the plate for Ensworth. Hunter Harris struggling, the sophomore, who has been kind of having his ups and downs. And this would be a huge confidence booster if he could drive in a run to end the second inning with his team trailing 3-0.
Hey, he's due. He's got to break through sometime this season, right?
And here he is taking that pitch that was almost identical to the previous pitch. This time the umpire saw it as a ball. What a change of 20 seconds can do.
Change of the light. A cloud moved over.
And Harris check swings. Doesn't matter because it's a strike right down the middle anyways. That's not a good sign in terms of confidence. But a 1-2 count. Can Harris come up clutch? Needs to be aware of the plate here. And he strikes out swinging and will strand runners on first and second. Ensworth still trailing 3-0 as we head to the top of the third inning.
So through 2 innings, Lax has been dealing for Pope John Paul II. 4 strikeouts, no runs, just the 1 hit by Bramer to lead off this second inning, and then also walked you aboard. He's able to strand 2 and hold on a little bit tighter to that 3-0 night lead. The Tigers going to send Jablonski back out onto the bump to see if he can hold it here. Defense is going to need to shore things up a little bit. The ground balls that have gotten through, as we've mentioned a couple times, not super hardly hit. It just need a little bit better positioning, maybe a little bit of luck, a good bounce here or there. A lot of things could happen. You still got 5 innings left to play here. Yeah, a lot of baseball to be played and a lot of time for the coaching staff here for Ensworth to make some shifts and maybe even, figure out which batters, positioning, that kind of thing. They do that before the game, but then, the way that the game folds out can change that. It'll be Oathout, Lax, and Jackson due up for the Knights this half inning. So we'll get another little treat of some pitcher battles here. Max Lax due to bat second. He flew out to left field over to Kenny McKinley in his first at bat. Out has one of the RBIs. He brought in the unearned run that's on his Jablonski's resume so far with that sacrifice bunt after the leadoff single from Carroll and the error. That brings us to top 3. Jablonski back out there trying to find his groove.
And so we welcome you back to Ensworth Live. If you're just tuning in, I'm Max Keller alongside Nate Stein. I'm going to kind of figure out my rhythm there. I think we'll do it about every 3 innings or so just to make sure you're still listening. And it is a 3-0 ball game, unfortunately, in favor of the JPII Knights. And Jablonski with a 1-1 count working here. So Pope John Paul comes down, and they're going to play Ensworth here today, and they're playing back at Pope John Paul tomorrow, and then they're going to be back here on Thursday. So Ensworth's first time this season that they'll get 2 home games, and I know that's important to them. It's a lot easier to walk out of your own locker room straight onto the field instead of having to get on a bus and kind of warm up in a different facility. As that pitch is high, bringing it a 3-1 count. Dangerous territory for Jablonski. Has to be smart with his next pitch placement.
So Oathout has an opportunity here to be the first man aboard.
That does not hit him.
Doesn't matter. He's aboard regardless.
Yeah, they're
heading
gonna
down
call
to
it
first base. There's a lot that happened there. I think he jumped out of both his helmet and his elbow guard somehow. I didn't know that was possible, but he did both those things while somehow also avoiding the ball. That thing looked like it was destined for the middle of his back.
Well, the helmet and he's wearing a hat underneath. Everything just came off. It was a equipment disaster. But
yard sale out here.
Yeah. So I don't think that pitch actually hit him. I just think Jablonski lost a little bit of control there, and that one ran inside. Doesn't matter. 0 out, runner on. Double play is active. And this will be a bunt, another sack bunt, and they're just putting on a clinic on how to advance runners. JP2's coaching staff has to be pleased with the strategy that they've been able to enforce today.
Good fielding by Jablonski against his pitching counterpart, Lax. That ball kind of went awkwardly to his backhand, but he held it, or he fielded it cleanly, made a strong throw down to first, got himself an out. And runner in second, if you can pick up a second out, then there's no sacrifice in play.
Yeah, it gets a lot less scarier if you can get this second out in the top of the third. This pitch down, and Sifford couldn't get the glove down, and the runner will stay at third as this pitch was shallow, and luckily the runner was unable to advance to second as well as McKinley kind of made the decision to throw home, but a little awkward there, and Sifford couldn't get the glove down, slow reaction time.
It looked like he was in the right spot for it. It looked like if he just stretched his hand a little bit farther, he might at least get a piece of that ball, maybe didn't see it quite as well off the bat as he wanted to.
And this is one of those situations where now Mason Jablonski has to be feeling some of that frustration. You got 3 runs, and now you got 1 out, runners on the corners, first and third, and he's going to have to be more surgical with his pitch placement. This pitch is strike 1, and compared to his last outing against Brentwood Academy, the pitch count is up and the runs are up. Not all his fault. Just JP2 doing some old-fashioned hitting around the field and not really far, as Nate Stein has mentioned a couple times.
And it looks like there's some rain starting to fall maybe out there, a light drizzle, am I seeing? So we might be getting a little bit of weather coming our way.
Yeah, we do see
just starting. You can see the drops on the concrete. So that's something to keep an eye on as this game continues. See whether both Jablonski and Lax can keep control on a wet ball.
Yeah, that does change everything. That curveball came in really slow and forced a very late swing. So 0-2 count, exactly where you want to be for Jablonski. I checked the weather earlier, and it looks like that this should just be a moving light rain that will do some coating, but nothing that should put this game into jeopardy as of this morning. We will see as this game progresses. The only thing that's going to change is some wet gloves and a wet baseball every once in a while. And this time, we'll see the first mound visit of the day.
And Jablonski pulling off his glove and reaching towards that throwing shoulder, and immediately I think we're going to get a pitching change, or maybe at least the trainer coming out to check things out. Everybody looking over towards the dugout.
We might be seeing an early pitching change. Not the outing that Jablonski wanted, because he likes to eat up innings, and that's what Coach Maxwell needs from him on the mound. And obviously not anything he can control here, but don't want to be injury prone. You're worried about Jablonski's shoulder.
So if this is the end of the day, that's going to be 2 2/3 innings from Jablonski with 2 earned runs on 4 base hits and a strikeout thrown in there. A couple errors, or 1 error rather, in the field behind him.
Yeah, and Titus Woodson will be coming out to take the mound. The senior reliever. And so Jablonski's day did not go as he imagined. But now Titus Woodson, the first time I'm getting to watch him live, a good buddy of mine. Excited to see what he can do alongside the help of Andrew Yu and his pitching staff.
Yeah, the senior coming out trying to get out of a bit of a bind with 1 down, runner in scoring position. But while he gets warmed up, we'll take a quick break. Stick with us here on Ensworth Live. You're watching Ensworth Baseball.
He gets to keep the count, right? So we welcome you back to Ensworth Live. I'm Max Keller alongside Nate Stein. We have a pitching change after Mason Jablonski had his outing cut short, possibly due to pitch count, but also due to some possible shoulder pain. So Titus Woodson is going to have to come in here and eat up innings as the senior reliever. First pitch comes in, and a good strikeout from Woodson. And I think he'll get credit for that.
I think he does.
One pitch strikeout.
One pitch, 1K. How about that? Good start for Woodson. That's got to do something for your confidence. Even though you inherited the 2 strikes, it still goes on your stat sheet.
Especially with coming into the game down 3 with the runners on first and third is not an easy position to ask for Woodson. And you hope that some of that veteran leadership can come in and be effective here. 1-0 count, 2 out, force out at first and second. And Woodson will get back to his motion. This pitch is grounded and fair. Just perfect placement from JP2 as this ball gets by, and now the runner will advance third and second. Nightmarish situation for the Tigers, who now trail 4-0 and have 2 runners in scoring position for Titus Woodson, who will have to be methodical moving forward, and just disaster strikes.
It's certainly not what you want when you bring in a new pitcher. You want him to have a little bit of time to ease into things. Obviously, that's not possible when he inherits runners on the corner and that sort of bind. But after the first strikeout, you thought, hey, 1 out, maybe this is it. But when you combine errors with base hits, it's just not a great situation.
And so this pitch low, and Jablonski's velocity isn't necessarily elite compared to the division talent, but it's up there. And, with the rest of the relievers, the issue for the Tigers is not pitching, as they've had so much time to practice and stuff. It's just some of the velocity, and the hitters on the opposing teams have been able to see the ball better. This one, just a pop-up routine fly ball. Hunter Harris will end the inning. So damage is limited after the single RBI that scored 1 and advanced 2 runners. JPT will strand 2, but they lead the game 4-0 at the end of the – actually heading to the middle of the 3rd inning. And so I'm assuming, Lax is going to head back out there on the mound. Jablonski's counterpart pitcher will be going strong.
JP2 just able to chip away a couple runs here and there, a couple base knocks here and there, toss in a walk and an error. And you got yourself a pretty solid lead, 4-0 in the bottom of the third. Lax with a bit of a cushion and a chance to add on to what's already been a pretty strong day. Just 2 base runners, or I guess technically 3, one of them reaching on a fielder's choice. Bramer with the single, you walking. But 4 Ks thrown in that mix as well. 4 out of the 6 outs have been strikeouts, 3 swinging, 1 looking. Lax looks very at home here on the mound.
That's been the most impressive thing for me in terms of my scouting report for Lax, is just the way that he gets people to swing and miss, which at the high school level is just rare because you can't really create that elite velocity. When you talk about some of the guys that play at the next level, it gets a lot harder.
Leading things off this inning will be the 9-hole hitter, Reed Bushman, the senior. Will get his first look at Lax in this game.
Number 3,
Bushman batting .370 on the season, top 3 on this Ensworth squad. And Coach Maxwell subscribing to the method of having a strong hitter in that 9-hole so that your leadoff man is more likely to be hitting with somebody already on the base path.
And Reed Bushman has fulfilled that request from Coach Maxwell perfectly, hitting at that high marker. And he works a 2-0 count early.
Lax trying to work fast, but doesn't seem to be working in his favor so far. 2 quick balls have Bushman in a real comfortable spot.
And so Bushman fouls this one back. Yeah, that's something that I've seen now twice. Last week with Brentwood Academy's pitching rotation, really quick pitching almost, getting the ball and pitching within 5 seconds. And it seems like Lax likes that methodology here too. He's got a 2-1 count, and Bushman couldn't get his eye on that one, didn't see it well at all. Swings anyways, now works the count back to even, 2-2. Lax ready to prey on his victim.
Just off the edge. That was a really good.
Nearly the 5th strikeout.
Really good frame job by Robertson, the catcher behind the plate.
That pitch way outside, and Bushman swings and misses.
Just over and over again, Lax is getting these Tiger hitters to chase a lot of things out on the outside edge of the plate, and you can chalk that up to the control over the zone that Lax has shown. He's shown that he's got the ability to paint that outside edge, so something close like that, you're more likely to get somebody to chase if you've already hit that spot a handful of times.
Well, if anybody's going to get the run on the board quickly, it's going to be this man. Number 2, Devin Obie. Couldn't get on base his first time, but this one is high and down the left field line, nearly foul, but great play from JP2, and that one lost a lot of momentum as it went.
Yeah, it just started to rise up. Looked like Obie was going to have some pull power. Started to think maybe we need to check if this is fair or foul, but ranging over to make the play was Christian. Maybe a step or two into foul territory. That ball might have gotten down fair, but regardless, it's an out, and Obie struggling a little bit, 0 for 2 on the night now.
Well, his Duke counterpart will be up to bat. That pitch slides in right down the middle, and that pitch started too far outside, so Andrew Yu will take it as a first pitch strike.
Same spot.
Yeah, same spot. Andrew Yu wasn't ready for it again. 0-2 count, and Lax is just staying aggressive, pitching with pace, keeping the pitch count low and striking out batters left and right. This one fouled up and back. And, I haven't seen too many full counts for Lax today, and, that's kind of been the opposite for Ensworth with pitching.
It's been the same sequence every time. He's got that kind of backdoor slider as Yu sends this one deep into right field. That's going to get down for extra bases. Yu on his way to second, standing up. 2 bags, and that is what the Tigers needed at this point in the game. They've gotten 1 base hit up until now was Bramer, but that was just a dribbler single. So good piece of hitting from Yu, and coming out of the dugout will be the junior Parker Wainwright to pinch run for Yu and get into the game on the base paths.
And now you have some power walking up to the plate, although Andrew Yu had the power
I was
on
gonna
that
say,
one.
I think we just saw some power running away from the plate, too.
Yeah, and that was the first opposition hit that actually landed. People have been wanting to go there, and Yu ended up with a stand-up double. Now McKinley working in a crucial situation, trailing by 4 are the Tigers, and McKinley up with 2 outs and a runner in scoring position at second. This could change the tide for the rest of the game. 0-1 count, and McKinley good to leave that pitch alone, and that's where Lax has liked his outside pitches, his misses to be, likes it outside and high. 1-1. Can McKinley cause some damage here? That pitch curves in, and that's the same spot he's hit 3 times this inning.
It just an off-speed pitch, maybe a changeup, maybe a little bit of a cutter that just comes in off that back edge. From a lefty, if you're facing a right-handed batter, it starts off the plate just like that.
And that's the same
Finishes
pitch.
over the left outside edge.
And McKinley strikes out looking. That pitch was highly executed from Lax. Same placement over and over again, and Ensworth just wasn't ready for it.
6 strikeouts now for Lax, 2 of them looking, 4 of them swinging. It's a pretty good day's work through 3 innings for that young man.
Well, where do the Tigers go from here is the question. And I honestly don't know because the bats haven't gotten going enough, you know.
It's a flash in the pan
Yeah.
here or there. You had
Yeah.
the single from you had the single
From Bramer.
Yeah, from Bramer, and then you had the double from you. Other than that, you're not even making that great of contact. A couple foul balls. I mean, Obi sent one into the outfield foul, but too much air under that. There's nothing driven. Everything's lofted.
Well, and JP2's done the exact opposite. They're
Yeah.
getting people on.
They're
and-
doing the exact
yeah.
same thing, though. Nothing's driven. Everything's
Right.
lofted. They're just hitting their spots.
The
They're
success,
converting.
yeah.
It's all batting average on balls in play if you want to get into some advanced analytics here. JP2's got the advantage in that stat that can honestly sometimes be random, but honestly just shows where your defender's playing positionally. Are your fielders where they're supposed to be? Are they getting maybe a glove on a ball that's a little bit out of their range, but they're knocking it down and saving extra bases? Or maybe they're knocking it down and able to find it and at least make a play or rush something. It's the difference in the little things right there.
Well, you know, baseball being one of those games where 7 innings can feel like a very long time, even for people who love the sport.
Oh, yeah.
And that also does mean that equals time available for Ensworth to score runs. So unlike you heard Nate and I call the basketball games where you got that clock ticking down, you know, you can really work an inning if you get the base runners. And that's what Coach Maxwell has to be preaching to his guys in the dugout.
But a lot of that starts with confidence and control over the strike zone. And right now, if you're picking someone who's going to be more confident in the strike zone, whether it's Lax or any of the Tiger hitters, honestly, I'm taking Lax right now. He's very confident with that outside edge. He's got that cutter that's going to come in on the back door, and he's in 1 through 9's head right now for the Knights.
And so Titus Woodson getting to start an inning fresh this time, and this will be a line drive out.
1 pitch, 1 out, just like he started last inning.
Hunter Harris will field that one cleanly. And so Titus pitching here in the top of the 4th.
And we're back to the top of the JP2 lineup as well with the second baseman, Carroll.
Well, this is a tough part of the lineup, to say the least, for JP2, and they're getting guys at bats this game. That stat is going to increase just because of the success rate for these hitters.
Third trip to the box for Carroll.
And another 1 pitch at bat, but this one could be trouble. But a good job there from the senior Reed Bushman to call everybody off, and that's the communication you love to see. And so Titus Woodson out there, he gets to take a little bit of a deep breath. 2 out, nobody on, right? And only 2 pitches.
So think about it. Woodson's had to get 4 outs. He's gotten 3 of those outs with 3 total pitches. It's everything else in the middle that's throwing him off. It's a couple base runners. It's inheriting a bit of a jam last inning. It's just so close. It's all the little details. That's what's killing the Tigers right now. It's quite literally death by paper cuts this game.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it could easily be 0-0 in this ball game just based on the singles. You know, you expect to see a scorecard. 3 innings, top of the 4th, 4 runs. That's a decent amount of runs. You're expecting to see 2 doubles, a triple, bases cleared. It's just not happening. I mean, JP2 getting it done the right way. But here comes Ensworth, a little bit of a push. Let's see if this fielding can turn into some at-bats, although I won't speak too early, as now we got a lefty-lefty matchup. Titus Woodson working with 2 outs, trailing 4-0, and he's going to try to get himself back in the dugout as quick as possible. This pitch low, had a little bit of movement on the off-speed.
The center fielder, Giarratano, still looking for his first official hit. He reached base in the first inning on the throwing error after his bunt trying to just advance the runner, and then grounded straight back to Jablonski in his final inning of work as well.
2-0 count. Woodson has to fight in the strike zone here. That pitch hits the inside corner. 2-1.
So it doesn't seem like for this umpire it makes a difference whether it's inside or outside. He's just given that right edge from our perspective and from that camera's perspective.
And this pitch is played out into left, and Kenny McKinley will get under it. Routine fly ball, 3 outs quickly for Titus Woodson, exactly what you want.
Yeah,
if you're a
3 up,
Tiger
3
fan.
down inning at this point in the game is exactly what the Ensworth, not only team, but I think especially what their pitching staff need and what their pitching coach needed, frankly. You need to see that, hey, we can work around these guys trying to play small ball. We can get our guys into the right position to field these. All 3 of them. Bloop shots, different parts of the field. In two situations, it's over to the right side. You have Harris make a great play, and then you have Bushman make a great play coming from the infield turf to the outfield grass-colored turf. And then the last one, just good positioning from McKinley. He's sitting on it the entire way. Those are the types of innings that can, although they don't look like much, they can change the pace of a game and change just the way you look at a game.
Well, so much of baseball is rhythm, and just getting into the rhythm of catching a ball or throwing a ball can help you on the other end at the plate. So definitely interesting to see. McKinley got under that one. We see him play basketball. It looks like he kind of posted up under that fly ball. I don't know. That translation doesn't really work. They like to do that for tight ends in football who played basketball. They love to do that.
Just the way he can jump and high point it. It's almost as if they think that jumping and high pointing is only a rebounding skill for basketball. Right. It doesn't go to pretty much every sport.
Right.
I don't know. I could be wrong. What do we know, right,
Yeah,
Max?
but I don't really think that the baseball, basketball is very common.
No, that's a new one. We got a couple of those in there. You have McKinley. You have Parker Wainwright, who we just saw come in to pinch run after that double from you. So, middle of the order once again for the Tigers. Bramer, Jablonski, and you getting ready. Or pardon me, it'll be Woodson batting second as he is the pitcher in the game now. But Bramer already with a single today, 1 for 1, getting his second look at Lax. See if he can do a little bit more damage.
And going back to the Jablonski-Woodson thing, that's how we can confirm that Jablonski is dealing with some pain, because normally he was coming straight back into the field, whether it be second base, third base. So the fact that he's not in the lineup or on the field for the Tigers means he is working through something on that dugout. So Woodson will come up to bat after Dax Bramer, who is just seeing the ball so well. First pitch, aggression, but he's now down 0-2, has to protect the plate here for Lax, who's been having his way all day. That pitch way outside, and with a hitter like Bramer, you're not going to get a swing and a miss on that one.
Lax has had that spot for most of the game, just missed there. See if he goes back to the well.
He loves this cutter inside. Let's see. That one low. Well, if I'm his catcher, I'm telling him to go right back to that cutter that he has been striking out the side on. Ooh, and Bramer might have gotten away with one there. The ump likes that spot, but he will make it a full count, 3-2. Bramer in a battle here.
Yeah, the only difference on that pitch and some of the called third strikes was there was no tail at the end of that. It looked like maybe a four-seamer that time just stayed flat on the outer half.
And Bramer's going to pop this one up to right field.
There to make the play was Deason, the right fielder. No trouble there. Looked like he might have lost it momentarily in the clouds. We're kind of in that awkward pre-dusk timeline where it's a little bit gray, starting to get dark, but not dark yet. So keep an eye on that. Anything lifted high into the air, you could see some outfielders struggling to track the ball.
Well, Woodson will take strike one, who is now in the game pitching after Jablonski's outing went short. That's an interesting point you make, Nate, because Ensworth actually doesn't have lights on this field. And so this game is all based on timing and making sure you get in before sunset, although this time of year you're getting more sun, and that's a 3-pitch strikeout for Lax, who got Woodson looking every time.
Yeah, Woodson, you can tell, not super comfortable with making a swing there. And it's tough when you have to be a guy facing a hot pitcher for the first time when all the other teammates have seen him maybe one time already. So Woodson, that was his first look at it, and with a guy in a groove like Jax, you can't expect a whole lot from someone who just got into the game.
Well, maybe some lofty expectations for the freshman at the plate. Number 18, Spencer Yu, who had a great series last week and trying to continue that this week. He's aggressive, as we've seen. His first swing of the game looked like he wanted to take that one 365 over the left field wall, but he is now down 0-2 again. I believe that's what happened the first time. And
see if he's able to fight here or whether we'll be looking at a 7th K and just staying alive, you able to tip that ball and keep his at-bat for at least one more pitch.
And now Spencer Yu working with 0-2. That pitch, woo!
Just outside. We've seen that called a strike a couple times tonight. Not there. The freshman getting the benefit of the doubt.
And Lax was ready to walk that one into the dugout, maybe even was willing to give us a little bit of a strut. But Spencer Yu takes another ball. So, all of a sudden you got a 2-2 count. Spencer Yu, can he be a 2-out base runner? And at this point, Ensworth can take anything it gets on the bases, and that'll be a strikeout. Unfortunate there. Spencer Yu will end the side, and we will be back for the bottom of the the top of the 5th inning. JPII leading 4-0. Welcome back to Ensworth Live. Da-da-da. No, we don't have theme music yet.
Not yet. I thought you were welcoming me to Sunday at the Masters on CBS. Little Jim Nance in there. Come on, Max.
Welcome, friends. No, that that is not happening just quite yet. But after a quick inning of work for Titus Woodson, where he got 3 outs in a matter of 5 or 6 pitches, he will be facing another inning. His Tigers are trailing 4-0, and this pitch nearly comes inside to hit the batter. 2-0 count. Hitters count. Woodson's got to be careful here.
How the shortstop at the plate, his 3rd time up to bat. He's 0 for 1 with an RBI and a run scored. You want to figure that one out, Max? I want to see if you can remember what happened.
Okay, RBI and run scored.
Well, 0 for 1.
But 0 for 1. So he laid down a bunt, and Sifford threw the error over to first. No,
he laid down the clean bunt that brought in the first run, then walked and scored.
Okay,
his last
fielder's
at-bat.
choice, 0 for 1, right?
Yep.
Okay. Well, baseball trivia 0 for 1 on the year.
Round 2 will be on Thursday.
Yep. All right, full count. Woodson hits the right spot, fit the umpire's eye. Full count. Can he get the K here? Yes, he can. Almost on command.
Asking you shall receive, Max. So Oathouse now 0 for 2 with an RBI and a run scored.
Weird stat line.
Yeah, right? The walk thrown in there messes things up. The sacrifice bunt. Baseball's a funny game when you look at a scorebook.
First pitch high for Woodson, who now has a 1-0 count. And after coming in for Jablonski, the starter, who only got through, not all the way through 3, the pitching staff needs Titus Woodson to come in and eat up some innings, and he is doing that exactly. And meanwhile, not letting up base runners.
Yeah, doing it with a low pitch count as well. We mentioned last inning he had 3 separate outs where each one only took 1 pitch. One of those was a strikeout. Maybe that'll be next week's trivia question, Max.
That may be. See if we can get a sponsor to it, like Aflac. That's for the college football game.
I think they're probably tapped out covering college football, but you never know. They might want some high school baseball sponsorships.
You never know. 3-0, and he was going to be looking all the way, although I thought that one might have come down, hit the top of the zone, but nope. It'll be 4 straight balls, and Woodson will now, again, have to feel a little bit of pressure now that there's a base runner on, but might be a little bit relieved to know that double play is on if he can get a ground ball.
That'll bring up the third baseman, Jackson. 1 for 2 with the single on the day after the pitcher Lax walked to get on.
Woodson eyeing down and does a little bit of a weird maneuver there. I don't know. That might be close to a balk.
It depends on what sort. I got to be honest. It depends on his lower body motion. And I wasn't really paying attention to that because Lax looked like he was asleep in the base path a little bit. A better throw, and I think he had him picked off. Yeah,
so a little bit of a bang-bang play there. Now Woodson, the lefty, has a direct vision, and this is a taking off. Maybe that to me looked like something that was signaled by the coaches.
Yeah, definitely
steal and run.
There.
Yeah, hit and run.
You could tell that Lax was paying attention to Woodson's motion, especially with how kind of funky, as you mentioned, his throw over was. So Lax maybe got a late jump there, but a pretty good play if they can pull it off. Jackson just yanked that one foul.
Right, but he'll have to be careful on the leadoff with the lefty. Has the perfect vision and goes after him again.
That time not so close to getting Lax, just kind of keeping an eye on him, letting him know that he knows you're there.
And again, Woodson's attention will be diverted, see if he can still find the zone when he needs to.
Lax going. The throw in time, but not tracked in by Bushman. Just left it on the far side of his body.
And this is not a good sign if you've been watching this entire game because JPII with runners in scoring position have – I'm running out of adjectives for clutch, but they're going to look for this opportunity again, and Woodson's going to look to kind of change that pattern.
Double plays out of the question now as well, so good piece of base running from the other pitcher, Lax.
Yeah, and we got ones across the board, 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Runner on second, not first. And another steal, and this one's put into play. This is going to go deep towards the wall, and this is going to get down. And weird, awkward base running as the run will score easily, but number 1, that's Lax for JP2, could have scored within milliseconds, but he kind of looked like he didn't know.
I don't think he thought that was going to fully get over McKinley's head, and I honestly wasn't sure either. McKinley got a pretty good beat on it. He was running back right away. I think he just got a little nervous running towards the wall because that ball kind of short hopped off the bottom half of the wall. So if you're McKinley, you obviously don't want to be sprinting full speed and run into the wall, not with so little protection out there with just the bushes up against the fence.
And unfortunately, Ensworth will be down 5-0 here in the top of the 5th inning. Not the ideal way to start the series if you're Ensworth. By no means is this game over, but you know that the trend for bats for Ensworth this game has been a little bit cold. So unless something's trying to turn up the heat in the dugout, maybe get a furnace going.
Take a microwave at this point.
Yeah. And so again, 1-1 count, 1 out, runner on second, and a good pitch from Woodson as that pitch just came in with enough lack of velocity to get a huge swing and miss.
Yeah, it looked like maybe a changeup, but not a lot of movement. Just kind of slowed things up. Rayborn got way out ahead of it. Rayborn trying to avoid his hat trick, but not the kind that you want in this game. Already with 2 Ks.
Ground, Connor Cobb. Great play, and that's what the Tigers had been missing without him on the field. But just, as a freshman playing shortstop, just the way that he fielded that ball and then threw the ball, I mean, Connor Cobb or Derek Jeter. I mean,
there's a confidence, there's a flow. You can tell that he just has a really good feel for the game and that portion of the field. And it shows from a young age. Obviously, a freshman starting, it's always impressive, though.
And this pitch, another one pitch, 1 out possibility. Hunter Harris will call everybody off and end the inning. So Woodson picks up his 3rd out on the pop fly, lets up another run. Ensworth trailing 5-0, and Ensworth's going to have to get some bats going.
They need something. So to look ahead, you have the bottom third of the lineup. You have Cobb, Harris, and Bushman coming up. So not necessarily what you were hoping for when you need to get the bats going, considering those 3 young men are combined 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts on the night.
Something's going to have to click for Ensworth, and I don't know if it's going to have to be, the team is talking it over there. And I think if there's one thing that this team never lets get by them, even when they're down or having a tough game, is they're always talking it over. And after a loss, you'll see them in left field after a win or loss. They have a players-only meeting for 5-10 minutes just talking to each other. And that's something that you can't really coach if the guys don't like each other, but it's clear they like each other, trust each other. Just a matter of executing here at the plate.
Yeah, you got to bring the clubhouse and the success that you have there out onto the field. Obviously, it's a big part of it, but the clubhouse relationships, the locker room, it's not the only part of it. You got to be able to bring that energy and that, honestly, trust out there on the field. And innings and daylight running out of time here for Ensworth, as we have been live now for just about 1 hour and 20 minutes of play here. Yeah, we got about an hour and a half. We got 1 hour 31 minutes of light, according to my weather app. Sunset will be at 7:19 p.m. tonight. So we should have time to get through these final innings, although an Ensworth comeback could eat into some of that time.
Well, I also just hope that we don't have to go extras, because I think at this point, if JPII wins it, it'll be like this. But I think Ensworth might as well just, go ahead and make it all the way. Make it a, 6-5. Don't tie it up because.
Yeah, no, I don't think we'll be able to get extras without lights on this field. I think we might run out of time if we get to that point. Lax still out on the mound for the JPII Knights. Can't say enough about what this young man has done so far. He's got 8 strikeouts, has struck out every batter on Ensworth except for Bramer. I guess he didn't get Jablonski either before he came out of the game, but 8 strikeouts all against different batters. Nobody's got multiple Ks.
And that is not a recipe for success, as Connor Cobb swings out of his shoes at strike 1 and whiffs. And fouls off, and so now Lax, somebody who has 8 strikeouts, is just licking their chops with an 0-2 count.
Oh, yeah, he's got so many options to go here. You remember his pitch sequence earlier. He's been peppering that outside edge with that little cut fastball. We'll see if he maybe goes inside, expecting the hitter to have his eyes on the outer half.
And Connor will have to protect the plate. Pitch outside, barely outside.
Looking for that outside half. Went with the four-seamer there, though. Just couldn't catch the edge. Didn't get that cut back over the plate.
And the umpire has been giving him that all game. 1-2 now, and goes back to that spot. And we'll make it 2-2. I haven't really seen a lot of inside pitches at all for Lax, and I think that's the reason that Ensworth hasn't necessarily been making super strong contact, is none of these pitches are coming inside towards the Ensworth bat enough to really drive outside. And 3 straight balls all on the outer half of the plate, and Connor Cobb is working here.
Yeah, obviously hitters are going to like it a little bit more on the inner half. Everybody's a pull hitter at heart. Let's see if Ensworth can step up, as they saw one inside there, but Cobb able to look it off and get aboard. So base runner, leadoff man on, I believe, for the just the second time tonight. The last time that happened was back at the beginning of the second inning when Bramer got his first base knock, or his only base knock of the night, the team's first base hit, 1 of 2. So just the second walk given up by Lax. He walked you back in that second inning as well.
And boy, you hope that they're just talking it over at the mound with a base runner on, or else we could be looking at a Blake Snell Game 6 World Series situation when
oh my goodness,
the flack behind that decision.
Yeah, no, they're just talking it over. There's nobody moving, nobody coming out of the dugout, nobody coming out of a bullpen anywhere. Doesn't even look like they've sent anybody out to warm up down the right field line.
Well, when you're having the game that Lax is having, a base runner is enough to spook you. And as far as Ensworth warming up, it looks like Drew Lancaster just got in some pitches over there on the left field wall. So Hunter Harris up to bat again with runners on. This time 1 runner on first. And when are the runs going to come for Ensworth? And not in terms of averages and statistics, this is not the ideal part of the lineup. But like I said, any time you can change that narrative, as nearly Connor Cobb is thrown out, kind of got a little lazy going back to the base. But a 1-1 count, Hunter Harris can change his fortune of the season with just one base, one getting on base and then scoring a run even. 1-1. And Harris was set up for a bunt. That came out of nowhere. You'd think he'd start the at-bat that way, but now a 2-1 count. He can still go back to the bunt with only 1 strike.
And maybe just to throw Lax off a little bit. No, he shows bunt again, tries to put it out there. And another heads-up play from Robertson, just a little high. He's got to keep an eye on Cobb down there, and Cobb's got to be ready for that move. It's second time this at-bat.
Yeah, and it looks like the second time that Cobb almost got caught.
And a better throw might have gotten him on that last one.
So now checking over is Lax. Harris at the plate. Ensworth trailing by 5. Foul tip back. 2-2 count.
Harris at least doing a good job of getting Lax's pitch count up a little bit. We've only seen really one other long-ish at bat of this game with Lax on the mound. He's made quick work of most of the Tigers lineup.
And weird, looks like Harris kind of knew he was thrown over. That would have been bad news for Harris if Lax had actually gone.
Well, he saw the step off the bag. I think if you keep an eye on the left foot of Lax, when he makes that kind of awkward throw over, he takes his back foot off the rubber, tries to kind of sneak it over there, but good scouting report and good find by Harris to pick that up.
And now maybe trouble as the sun is peeking through the clouds again. Could be tough for the outfielders, especially over there in right.
The ball has been making its way into the outfield on the right side.
Harris strikes out, swinging 9 strikeouts for Lax in what has been another dominant pitching performance from the opposing pitcher in this field.
So that'll bring up the 9-hole hitter Bushman, looking for his first hit on the night. He had a solid at bat when he saw Lax back in the 3rd inning. But he's going to need to do a little bit more than just have a solid at bat. The Tigers need to just put something on the board, whether it's a base hit, whether it's a run. They need something to show for their efforts tonight.
And a little bit, again, of a weird footing situation from Bushman, who's hitting the ball well, but it looks like that's back-to-back at-bats where, instead of just swinging the bats, looks like his feet almost crisscrossed. But the steady 9-hitter for Coach Maxwell in this lineup is facing an 0-1 count against a pitcher who has been looking unhittable.
You and Brame are the only ones who have found a crack in his armor so far.
And this pitch is fouled off. Back right. So now an 0-2 count, and again, Lax, the strikeout pitcher he is, has infinite amount of options here.
Keep an eye on Cobb over at first. He hasn't thrown over yet this at bat. Won't do so here, but the off speed and the throwdown. Whew, that was close as Bushman goes down. Almost a double play, but Cobb able to scramble and get a hand on first. As we go back to the beginning of the lineup, now 10 strikeouts for Lax, getting everybody once except for Bramer, and then getting Harris and Bushman each twice. First pitch to Obi, low and in the dirt. Cobb thought about going, but Robertson able to corral that one and keep him put.
So now, even with 10 strikeouts, Lax has to be worried about throwing here to Devin Obi, who can just seemingly poke a ball behind the fence.
Well, and you got 4 outfielders. Look at the shift that JP2's put out there. I just looked up.
Yeah.
You got the second baseman. That's Carroll all the way out, kind of playing in right center. Nobody in deadaway right. You have the center fielder, Giordano, in left center, and then each of the corner outfielders playing just all the way to the line, essentially. So something in Devin Obi's scouting report says, hey, you might need somebody else deep.
Another thing to note is that Connor Cobb's laundry will be tough after this game, as he has had to slide back into first base about 5 times. Devin Obi pulls this one right. This one could get down and cause some issues, but JP2 tracks the ball all the way and will end the inning. Lax just dominating out there, and that one looked like it should have landed fair, but no such fortune for the Tigers.
4 outfielders out there for JP2, Deason, and all 4 of them, by the way, playing in at least a slight pull shift. So Deason, as the furthermost to the right, was still playing in pretty much straightaway right field. If you only got 3 guys out there and you're trying to play a pull, there's no chance Deason gets to that ball tailing away from him. But a good read, a good jump right off the bat, made that play look routine, but would not have happened without the shift. That's a credit to the coaching staff at JP2.
And we do have a pitching change. Woodson is done as we head to the top of the 6th with Drew Lancaster coming into the game.
So Obi goes 2 1/3 on his day, strikes out 1 and allows just 1 run. So a pretty good day's work, especially considering the only run he allowed is technically unearned because it was Jablonski's base runner before he had to come out of the game with that shoulder injury.
Lancaster pitched against Brentwood Academy here at home last Wednesday and let up 3 runs in the top of the 9th.
Another senior on the bump for the Tigers.
Well, Drew is just kind of filling into that pitching role. He played outfield his entire high school career and most of his middle school career that I was with him. And, you know, he's been picking it up pretty well, enough to where Coach definitely trusts him out here on the mound. And, you know, you'll just see how that develops with the arm talent. But, you know, I like to pick a little fun at Drew, who started his pitching career in the first couple games and had, I think, four balks in 2 games, which we joked was maybe a TSSAA record that he can hold for most consecutive balks in a first start.
You should just claim that for him. Who's going to check? I like that move.
Yeah.
Records are records, man. You can use that anywhere. So, yeah, you know, he holds a TSSAA record. They ask which one. You say, you should look it up. He doesn't like to talk about it. People just think he's being humble. They don't need to know that it's a slightly embarrassing record.
Well, he has indeed gone a game without a balk.
Hey.
So that is huge for his confidence. And he's been finding the strike zone. Again, like I said, really the issue, and these guys will tell you, is just velocity, not being able to get into that upper region of miles per hour. But if you can find the strike zone, that's all that matters. First pitch low, right down the middle, but low, which I guess inherently means not right down the middle, but over the middle of the plate.
There you go.
1-0 count inside, although not sure. That might have been a little bit of an extra lean in. Thought that one wasn't as far out as it looked.
Yeah, Sweat crowding the plate a little bit here. You can see where he's set up in the box with his toes pretty much right up against the chalk.
And Lax will send this one to center field. First play of the game for Devin Obi, and he stayed ready and makes the out. It's rare that you have your center fielder getting his first fieldable ball in the top of the 6th inning.
Yeah, it's all been one side or the other. Everything in the infield, it seems like, has been straight over at Sifford, and everything in the air has made its way over to Harris.
And so now Lancaster will steamroll with some confidence after being able to get one out done here in the top of the 6th. His team trails 5-0. Not been the day for the Tigers at the plate. That pitch is just high for ball 1.
Robertson maybe with a little extra duck down there to show, like, oh, no, that was high. I can't stand up that tall.
And so as if JP2's execution with runners on base wasn't enough, they're out here with a little bit of theatrics around the plate, looking like they're ducking, dodging, and weaving.
Whatever it takes.
2-0 count, 1 out, nobody on. Lancaster's pitch is hit into left. McKinley dives and can't get it. He's got to get up and make a play. Devin Obie has to track all the way from center field to pick up the ball, and Drew Lancaster will come back up the third baseman. But now, runner on second, and all of a sudden, danger. Not really to the fault of Drew Lancaster.
No, it's a hard hit ball on a rope, and I actually do like that McKinley tried to make a play on it. He was in a good position, had to take a couple steps. I think that ball maybe just knuckling a little bit, bottom dropped out of it at the last second, because he looked like he was in a pretty good position to make a play.
Yeah, I thought he could have gotten there, so I'm not going to critique him and say that he should have just taken that on the one hop. I like that decision, but just tough outcome. So 1 out, runner on second.
Back to the top of the order for the Knights. Carroll 2 for 3 on the day. The ribby and a run scored.
1-0 count. These pitches aren't missing by much for Lancaster. This pitch is hit into left. And we will see a play at the plate. McKinley's throw is too late. Andrew, you couldn't maintain the ball that McKinley threw, and now the runner will stand up with a double on second. That's forgive me for forgiving the name for JP2 as Connors? Carroll.
Yeah, the second baseman Carroll making his way to second base on that one. I think technically, if we're going to get real specific with the scoring, it's an RBI single advancing on the throw, but regardless, it brings in Robertson, the catcher, who scores his second run of the night.
So 1 out, runner on second again. This time, Lancaster draws a swing and a miss.
Yeah, gets Geritano to chase that one down in the dirt.
0-1 count, 1 out, down by 6. Ensworth grasping for straws.
Now we'll get a late pinch runner out to second base to replace Carroll. It's going to be Reynolds coming into the game for the Knights to get the lead out a little bit, loosen those legs.
Lancaster, his pitch is grounded out to Bushman, who will make the play, throw over to Bramer. Runner will advance to third, and Lancaster will be working with 2 outs now, with a runner looming on third base. Only, well, I would say 90, but we've already discussed this before. Maybe give it like 75 feet.
Yeah, is it 72 feet, 68
something like
feet,
that.
something in that range.
Yeah. So the fielders have to be ready and sharp for Lancaster, who throws a lot of strikes. Ball could be in play right away. That pitch, fastball right down the middle, no movement, and swing and a miss.
Oh, how his eyes get real big looking at that one. Just swung straight through it. Got a little too excited.
Down and out for ball 2. That's going to be ball 1. My correction. And another swing and a miss.
How just can't seem to get a feel for the velocity coming out of Lancaster's hand. Seems like he's seeing it while he's taking really big swings, just not connecting.
Yeah, something about maybe the timing, maybe a little hitch in the pitch from Lancaster, but no luck for JP2 right now. This really besides the hit that really got down and left. And that's really kind of how it's been all game, where you can't really describe how JP2 has gotten its runs without really going in depth into.
Yeah, they've all been manufactured. Nothing has been simple. It's been plays, essentially.
And Devin Obie will make a running play to end the inning. Great jump on that ball, and we'll be back. Ensworth trailing 6-0 for the bottom of the 6th inning. Ensworth's going to need a spark.
It'll be you to start off the inning for the Tigers. Bottom 6 starting to run out of time, trailing 6-0. Nate Stein alongside Max Keller to bring you the ending of this game between your Ensworth Tigers and Pope John Paul II Knights.
So strike one for Lax. If you're just tuning in, Lax has pitched 6 shutout innings. Well, yeah, he's working on 6.
5+, working into his 6th.
Working into his 6th, and that pitch count is low, and the strikeouts are the opposite. Looking high for the number there, and that stat sheet will be a delight for him post-game. Ensworth still has some time to change that if they want to. They can't take away the strikeouts, but they can put some earned runs on the board.
An opportunity here with the meat of the order, you, McKinley, Bramer. You and Bramer represent the 2 hits that Ensworth has been able to pick up so far tonight. There's 4 base runners with a pair of walks, too, and just a single base runner since the 3rd inning for Lax. If that doesn't tell you he's dealing, I don't know what will.
And that's a 2-2 strikeout.
So strikeout number 12 on the night for Lax.
Up to bat, number 5, Kenny McKinley.
And at this point, it just feels like doomsday in the box, and McKinley fouls it off right. I mean, I tell you what, if the field line was extended all the way to the wall and right.
Are you talking about a fair territory?
Fair territory. Then Ensworth would have.
So if the field was twice as big as it already is,
then
and also was not, there wasn't such thing as foul territory.
Right.
Then yes, things would be going great. But guess what, Max? We would also be playing cricket.
Yes, we
so
would be.
Completely different set of rules there. I can walk you through it later. I got really into cricket my freshman year of college. The World Cup was on. It was midnight where I was in school, and they could not sleep, so I watched a lot of the World Cup of cricket.
Well, I mean, when you love sports like Nate and I do, you'll watch anything. Strikeout for McKinley. Wow.
That strikeout number 12 on the night for Lax. Now I misspoke, but maybe I was just telling the future when you swung and missed at 3rd.
Up to bat,
So now
10,
12 through
Dax
5 2/3 innings, and Bramer's going to try to get something going with 2 outs. The Tigers running low on time and even lower on runs.
Well, Lax is just smiling at this point. He's ready to go all 7, and that would be that would be consecutive home games that Ensworth has faced a pitcher who threw a 7-inning shutout.
I really enjoy this reverse jinx that you're trying to pull off right now. You're like, the more I talk about Lax going long, the more likely he is to get pulled. But in all seriousness, you're right, Max. If I'm Lax, I'm going back into the dugout, and I am begging Coach to let me go out for the 7th inning. I don't care what my pitch count. I don't care what my arm feels like. I got 12 Ks through 6, Coach. Let me get back out there. Let me see what I can do.
Well, 12 Ks through 6, you got to wonder if this was a 9-inning baseball game, although pitch count does matter. But, I mean, he is
looking for his 13th right here with the 2-2 count on Bramer.
I mean, his stats will – I mean, they'll look inflated, but they're not. I mean, he's well deserving of these strikeouts he's pitched today. Bramer grounds to second, and this will be the 3rd out of the inning after a great scoop, and that is keeping this shutout alive. Well, it wasn't in threat on that play. No, it wasn't in threat on that play, but we will be heading to the top of the 7th. So, Nate, at this point, you're a coach. You're walking in the dugout. Your team's down 6-0. You got Lancaster. Maybe Lancaster heading back onto the mound. I don't know for sure.
Yeah, I didn't see any action in the dugout. To get back to what you're saying, Max,
Yeah,
if I'm a coach, I mean, it's going to sound cheesy, but at this point when you're trailing 6-0 going into the last inning of a game, everything you say as a coach is going to sound cheesy. You say, hey, listen, to your point earlier, this isn't basketball. It's not football. There's no timer out there. We get to step into the box at least 3 more times. The next 3 guys, that's going to be I guess it would be Lancaster, depending on who's pitching that. Lancaster's still in, they could pinch him for him. But then you, then Cobb. You look at those 3 guys, you say, hey, you 3, you're guaranteed to get a shot. Every time that you can force him to see another one of us, do it. Because he still has to throw the pitch. There's no timer he can sit on and just let it run out. They still have to face us, and they still have to throw the ball over the plate. We're not done. We got to keep fighting away.
Well, we've seen crazier stuff happen in baseball all the
absolutely.
time. And, because we know about 6-run comebacks in the bottom of the last inning, that means they've had to happen before. So if there's a will, there is a way.
The clock has not struck midnight yet, Max.
It has not.
We are not calling this game from a pumpkin. We are still in this magical press box cart that will turn into a pumpkin at midnight.
Well,
hopefully not.
Hopefully not. But, I mean,
to extend the metaphor, it will.
To extend the metaphor, yeah. But, I mean, kind of a random plug here, but it's really turned into a pretty day out here after we had a little bit of a shower in the 3rd inning, and it's just sun peeking through, and Ensworth keeps their baseball field in prime condition all season long.
Hey, speaking of the weather, we're back at home. We'll plug our own broadcast coming up on Thursday. Back here, there'll be the 3rd game of this series between the Tigers and the Knights, 4:30. Watch it on Ensworth Live or come out to the field. It's going to be a beautiful day Thursday as well. See some good baseball in a beautiful setting and some warm weather.
Well, Ensworth in an ideal world would fill in the blanks tonight and tomorrow with W's, although we know tonight will be easier said than done. Lancaster on the mound to start the 7th inning. He pitched last inning, allowed 1 earned run, and his team is trailing 6-0, so just damage control here is what he's being asked of.
It'll be Lax, the pitcher, up first, maybe trying to help his own cause a little bit more, although if he wants to get back out there, maybe he wants to stay warm. So we'll swing at the first pitch like that, see if he can get things going quick.
And you would assume that, 1, we're going to see a pinch runner maybe, but 2, that statement by hitting Lax was kind of our answer for will he be back in the bottom of the 7th, which right now it looks like he will be.
Yeah.
And he's going to get pinch.
Yeah, he'll get pinch run for. We'll see who comes out of the dugout to do it.
34.
Yeah, it's going to be Smith coming out for the Knights and taking a spot on first base. The chance to make an impact on this game. Jackson now up to bat. He's 2 for 3 on the day with a RBI double back in the 4th.
Well, I'd like to get a last name check on number 1 for JPII. I want to make sure it's not Otani because Lax is getting it done at the plate and on the mound today.
Maybe just a slight exaggeration, Max, maybe, small one.
Well, I don't think Lax hit that ball 119 miles an hour, which Otani did last night.
I don't think he's throwing 101 either.
This pitch low, and will get by Andrew Yu. No play at second, and now the pinch runner will be in scoring position. Lancaster got to keep the pitches up and not in the dirt. I mean, how about Shohei Ohtani in MLB? First start of the year, he threw a pitch 101 and hit a home run at 115 in the same inning. And then
it's unbelievable.
And then last night he hit a ball 119 to the fence. That was the hardest hit ball of the season.
There are special athletes, there are freak athletes, and then there's whatever the heck Shohei Ohtani is, because he's honestly just a different breed. You could take somebody who was watching baseball 15 years ago, show them Shohei Ohtani, and they'd be like, cool. Guy's an alien.
Yeah.
Has to be.
Has to be.
Not real.
Well, it's just going to be interesting to see this MLB season play out. This pitch popped up for the first out, and Bushman tried to get cheeky with it and go for the runner on second.
Hey, that is something that a lot of people probably won't notice, won't think about. That is a great heads-up base running play by Smith. It's very easy to see that ball blooped up and just freeze, not be on the plate. Or not be on the base, but freeze and wait. But Bushman, to your point, tried to get cheeky. He was going to step on the bag as he caught it, and Smith read that well.
Lancaster will be able to take a little bit of a breath, but he has somebody on second still.
Make that third as this one gets away from you. A pitch in the dirt. You, once again, unable to keep it in front of him. So now 70-some-odd feet away from home is the pinch runner, Smith.
Well, 3 passed balls for Andrew Yu today has to be an anomaly, and that's not even that that's not even that high of a number, but he's so good there. And the sun now more on the field everywhere. That pitch is another swing and a miss, and Drew's been racking Drew Lancaster's been racking up the swing and misses. Hasn't really gotten the strikeouts, but
yeah, he's getting them early on in the counts, and then seems like the hitters are starting to catch up a little bit, at least put it into play, although a lot of them have looked like this, a pop fly. This one caught by Harris, and he will hold the runner with a strong throw, but not a smart throw as there was nobody. I guess Lancaster was a little late getting to the backup. That one skipped past you. Lucky that Smith was staying put no matter what.
Yeah, Smith wasn't going to run on that. Harris still decided to throw, which means if Smith had run, he would have been safe by a lot.
Yeah, I mean, that ball was 10 feet up the line from home plate. So for you to go up and make that catch, unless it was a perfect coincidence where Smith just happened to be crossing over where that ball was, he makes it easily.
So Ensworth has the opportunity to walk away this inning without any runs scored, but they have the runner looming on third. Lancaster throws ball 1. Pitches down and goes behind you. There's going to be a play at the plate, and this ball will be way back, so no play at the plate. And that'll be 7 for JP2. 7-0.
And again, death by caper cut. A single by the pitcher, pinch runner, stolen base, passed ball. It's just the little things. JP2's not doing anything that spectacular. They're just playing smart baseball.
JP2 is playing baseball like you play Connect 4, just methodically and looking at the entire board. It's just unbelievable the way that they put up 7 runs. And this pitch is sent to center field. Can Obi make the play? And a good jump by Obi. All right.
His horse out there in center. He's made a couple plays like that that could have kept this game from being a little bit worse than it is, but 3 outs for the Tigers. They got 7 runs to make up.
Well, you see the teammates come out and support their players, see if they can maybe get a little bit of a new vibe in the dugout. And I don't even know if a new vibe will be enough, but it helps.
Yeah, it's a good sign when even in a game that may look futile to continue to care about or try, when you still have guys coming out of the dugouts picking each other up, that's a great sign for the culture. And Max, new pitcher. We're not going to get Lax out here for the 7th inning. They let him hit. They let him hit, didn't let him run.
But that could be good news for the Tigers.
It's going to be Kennard, it looks like, coming out a righty.
Maybe the closer?
Yeah, could be the closer, but So Lax, we'll go through his stats now. Finishes his day. He goes 6 complete innings, allows 2 hits and 0 runs, and strikes out 12, I believe. Let me count them up again. He got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Striking out 4 different Tigers multiple times. That's just an incredible outing for that young man.
Well, new pitcher in, and if they're eyeing him up, this could be an opportunity to get some damage going. Drew Lancaster will hit at the pitcher position.
It's going to be Lancaster, Yu, and Cobb as it stands. And to your point earlier, Max, when Lancaster came into the game, an outfielder by trade, fairly new to the pitcher's mound, so maybe a little bit more comfortable here in the bottom of the 7th inning, standing at home plate rather than standing on the mound. So Kennard will finish up his warm-up toss as Robertson sends it down to second. And Lancaster will get ready to step in and get things going.
Number 7, Drew
Tigers down to their last leg. Lancaster steps in.
Yeah, huge opportunity to get a base runner on early. Outs at this point are poison. And Lancaster sends the first pitch to short. He's gonna make the shortstop make a play. I don't hate that.
No, it's a good job to jump on it early. You're trying to get this new pitcher, Kennard, rattled a little bit. Unfortunately, Oathout was in a good spot. That ball just rolls right to him. It's a pretty routine play, although he was forced to rush the throw, and that caused Sweat to have to make a pretty nice scoop. Brought it over with the forehand.
And, well, if outs are poison, then the Serpent has delivered its venom slightly, and it's moving through the Ensworth system as they only have 2 outs to get 7 runs to tie, 8 to win here on the bottom of the last inning. Spencer Yu, the freshman, up to bat. Boy, this would be a memorable moment here for him if he could get the inning started, but 0-2 already, and now a ideal situation. 0-2 counts, pitchers love it all day.
And it's going to be in the hands of freshmen here for the next at-bat as well as Yu stays alive with Cobb on deck. So
yeah. Well, you want Spencer there to take that pitch, kind of really reached out, but, I mean, he has to protect the plate at 0-2, but maybe a little bit of nerves that you can see there.
Oh, absolutely. You never want to go down looking in the bottom of the 7th, so I understand that he's going to chase a little bit more. We'll see if Kennard understands it or if he gives him something to hit.
Gives him something to hit, but it's going to be popped up. Now, we could see some trouble if the communication doesn't work out, but JPII, no issue.
Just fine, decent, in the right spot. He was joined out there by Geritano and Carroll, but no communicative issues at all. And it comes down to this for the Tigers. The freshman Cobb batting .267 on the season coming into this game. But saw him make a couple nice plays in the field tonight. We'll see if that confidence transfers over, if he can at least make a little bit of a dent.
Well, he's going to swing first pitch, and this ball game is over.
Yeah, that did not take long. Early aggressive swings trying to attack Kennard, see if they could get something going there, but could not happen for the Tigers tonight. Lax too strong on the mound. It really does boil down to that. Obviously, it's not only that because JP2 scored 7 runs, but you look at 12 strikeouts and 6 innings of work. That's magical.
Well, Ensworth, after last week having to face Battaglia for Brentwood Academy, who threw 7 innings with lots of strikeouts. This is a team that struck out more than they want to. I mean, I'm sure that they're going to have to figure it out. Every team does get an opportunity to play into the playoffs, but the way that Ensworth has started league play is less than ideal. And you know that this team has way more talent than the wins are showing. But, look, we got 2 days. They got a game tomorrow. We'll update you with that on the start of the game Thursday. And then we got you here Thursday for what we hope we can call a win.
Yeah, the first game is dropped in this series between the Tigers and the Knights. But the Tigers still have an opportunity. They can take the next 2. They'll have to go on the road tomorrow, like you said, Max. And then once again, back here on Ensworth Live Thursday afternoon at 4:30. Join us online or in person. It'll be a beautiful day.
Well, Thank you so much for tuning in. Once again, I'm Max Keller alongside Nate Stein. Hope you have a great evening. Thank you.